Welcome in to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Hello and welcome today to Greenville Grit. I am Terry Williams, and I'm here today with our co-host, PJ Conley. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for allowing me to.
He is our District 5 City Council representative, and he is also the owner of Conley Properties. And he's agreed to sit in with us today and discuss what's going on in the city with our wonderful guest who we've had on before, and we really wanted you to come back and update us about what's going on in Public Works and Streets. It's Kevin Mulligan, who is our Public Works Director.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being with us. So today, before we get started, we need to thank our sponsors, as we always do. Ribeyes Steakhouse is at the corner of Arlington and Fire Tower. They also have a location in Williamston. They've been with us since the beginning, and we really appreciate it. They have a wonderful menu and a great salad bar, and we encourage you to visit them and thank them for sponsoring our show. And Greenville Toyota, located across from Fresh Market. Their phone number, 252-321-3000. They can help you with the new and used vehicles. You can also visit them at greenvilletoyota.com. And, of course, Overton Residential Properties with Michael Overton and the gang there, myself, my son Trey, and Michelle Connor, Alana Jones. We would welcome you to call us at any time or visit us also at overtonresidential.com. So we'll take a quick break and come back and get started with an update on what's going on with our Public Works Department. Back. We are going to get into a great discussion with you today about everything that's happening with all the road projects we've got going on. So much going on, but one of the things which all of us can see happening right now is the 10th Street Connector.
Sure.
So let's just start the discussion, and I'm sure PJ may have some questions as well.
Yeah.
And just take it away and tell
Absolutely.
us what's going on.
10th Street Connector is a project that's essentially connecting ECU to the medical complex, the Vidant. So it's going from Stantonsburg down Farmville, which will be 10th, over and through that diagonal swatch of sort of open space now,
Right.
Which you can see all the way down to Evans. What's happening right now is they're putting the footings in for the bridge. They're
right.
installing that. So they want that bridge to settle for 12 to 18 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's one of the first things they're doing. They've put some stormwater in some places, and they've done a lot of clearing. So probably over the next 6 months, and that project should be done the end of 18.
Okay, so you're saying they put the pylons, and that settles,
right.
or they build the whole bridge and let it sit? I mean, what will they?
So the pilings will go in, and
Okay.
then they'll begin to put the bridge on top of that,
Okay.
and then it will they will let it sit for a while.
Wow, that is really interesting to see all that happening. And
Progress in Uptown. There's just exploding. I mean, the whole city is, but particularly Uptown area.
Right.
A lot of building going on, whether it's public, whether it's private, even the city. We have our intermodal facility, which is wrapping up design in the next probably 30 days, and we expect that to be under construction probably later this year, maybe October of this year, start our construction.
now tell everybody where that will be. Some don't know where it's going to be placed.
So the intermodal facility, or what we call them GTAC, will be north of Dickinson, just south of the CenturyLink building. So on Bonner Lane, surrounded by Bonner, Pitt, Clark, and what will there'll be a road south of, just immediately south of the facility.
That's right. So tell us a little bit about what will be in that facility.
Sure. So it'll be the center for all of our transit operations, and it'll be where all of the buses, right now the meeting point for our uptown buses where they circle back to is on Reed Circle.
Okay.
So now we're moving that to a facility. It's out in the open on Reed Circle. There's no facility. So it will be a facility that certainly the city uses, ECU will use, Greyhound, Pitt Area Transit. We'll use that as well. So we're looking forward to it. There'll also be space for 10 officers. They'll be outfitted there for the Center City unit.
Okay.
We'll have space there on the first floor.
Right.
So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fantastic addition to that Dickinson corridor. And it'll be right across the street from what is the Sidewalk Development Group's proposed student housing.
Where's the existing parking lot right now that the police department
Police and
uses
fire.
or employees or whatever?
That's right.
Uses
That's
for
right.
now, just to give people an idea, because it's sort of hard to
It is.
picture that in your mind where that's
That's
going
right.
to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I went over there the other day. I drove in that area, and I was driving down Bonner Lane, and I was driving down Pitt Street over there, and I said to myself, I was thinking, my gosh, it's amazing how much this is going to transform over the next 2 years. And I said, just, the proximity to this 10th Street connector just down the street from there, I mean, it's going to be a completely different area. I mean, it's unbelievable.
We're expecting that area to really explode, and it's already started to.
Right.
There's little pockets being filled in, and they're getting out ahead of the game. But the student housing, the intermodal facility, there'll be parking on the other side of that, and Dickinson between Reed and Memorial will be under construction in 2018. So. Just about every road in the city seems like every major road in the city will be under construction.
How are we going to handle the traffic patterns for all of that?
Carefully, very carefully. Careful coordination between. So while Dickinson starts as 10th Street connector stops, roughly.
Right.
And as well as the Town Creek Culvert is one of the larger projects that the city's undertaken, and that's the replacement of our stormwater culverts, and that goes under Evans, under Reed, all the way out to the river. But that will be built in segments, so discrete segments, so that we won't have the whole section closed at the same time.
Right.
But certainly we don't want our detours to bump into other detours, so we want to have folks be able to get around in the city. But it will be a little more complicated over the next 2-3 years.
So the part of the Town Creek Culvert, like it's under Evans, will that be handled first? So as the 10th Street connector is coming into Evans, that will be finished, or is there a pattern for how that's going to go?
Probably in October, they'll start that, and they'll probably start down at 3rd Street, and they'll work their way up. The existing culvert will remain in place, and we'll be connecting to that in areas where we need to. But the level of service, meaning the volume or quantity of the storm that the existing culvert can handle, is about a 1-year storm, 1.5-year storm. The new one will be a 25-year storm, so much, much bigger.
Right.
If you recall, Hurricane Irene, there was about 3 feet of water down right in front of the Boundary Project. What would be the Boundary Project now? If that storm were to happen now, there'd be no water in the street with the new system.
That's right.
So great improvement.
So this stormwater improvement, there's a plan for more than just the Town Creek Culvert area. Is there not something going on in more of the city?
Oh, sure,
Replacements?
sure.
I read something about that.
So just a final update on Town Creek Culvert. That design is complete. It's with the state. They're reviewing that. State's reviewing it because they're giving us a zero-interest loan, which essentially is saving the city about $5 million.
Right.
So huge stuff for us. But there's a watershed master plan where we're looking at all of the watersheds in the city, the entire 33 square miles, and coming up with the priority capital projects that we need to do to get our level of service up to 10 or 25 years, depending on where we are. Our ordinance calls for 10-year detention.
Okay. Yeah, I know when I read it, looked like there's something going on in every facet of the city.
Yeah,
Kevin's definitely earning his money. He's going to be very busy over the next couple of years.
Oh, my goodness, it is. So other major projects.
So the bond, thankfully, was voted and approved last November, and that starts, some portions of that start this summer. So $10 million for roads, a couple million for 10th Street Connector, where we just essentially have to write a check to DOT for completion of that. But we're going to be doing road resurfacing. We'll be doing Arlington, 2 sections of Arlington.
Okay.
Greenville to Fire Tower probably first, and then Memorial to Hart Drive will be second. We anticipate currently right now that we'll be doing that construction nighttime.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so road's very busy.
Oh, yeah.
Connection to the hospital. One of the connections to the hospital will be under construction in 10th Street. So we just need to be cognizant of that. Make sure that we're not interrupting traffic or interrupting the major traffic during the daytime.
Exactly. Now, there was some road projects being done. It looks like to me because it's actually in your neighborhood where I saw you jogging the other day. In the Lindale area, is most of that finished at this time? Things that had been started that
Sure.
you all were spending, I guess, the original $5 million or so that we had talked about
That's
several
right.
times on the show. That was
That's right.
part of those funds.
Yeah, we finished up the road resurfacing contract. There's actually one more road that will start in the summertime down in that area in West Haven. But Martinsboro is probably the road you're talking about. Very difficult road, very difficult conditions. And just to put it in perspective, typically we get about 48 inches, 50 inches of rain. Over the last 12 months, we're above 70 right now. So
it's been crazy.
really, really wet conditions. That does not help us. It does not help any of our construction. So complicates matters. But that project's done. It looks great. It's a great
nice.
improvement. So we're happy with that.
It is. That is really nice. So do you have any other questions you want to talk to him about
I
before
got
we
a
take
lot
a
of
break?
questions to ask. I know one of the things that I'm really excited about that we've talked about in previous council meetings is the some of the streetscape that we're doing from the airport area coming into town.
Sure.
That was one of the things that I know when I was running for city council, we had mentioned, entrances to the city and making it welcoming. And I know that's a big one we've talked about, and I'm really excited to hear a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, so that's on Memorial. So just north, from the airport road, the airport entrance, going just north of the airport. And we're working with DOT, that's a DOT road, and they are actually funding that landscape improvement. We have to take over maintenance of that. So we believe it's going to be $250,000 worth of improvements, so that should make a pretty significant improvement there. Landscaping improvements, it's a difficult area. That median is used for stormwater collection. So we can't do a lot in the median, but along the sides we'll have planting beds and trees and big swatches of color that isn't there right now.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Well, why don't we take our second break right now, and then we'll come back and cover some last things that you want to cover and thank our sponsors again, okay?
East.
Welcome back. We're having a great discussion about all the wonderful projects that are going on. So much is going to be happening all at one time. So I know that the traffic is going to be a challenge. So everybody just needs to be really patient. So what year-wise would we be talking about when we might see the culmination of all of these coming together so that the public will be prepared for
so,
all of that?
Towards the end of this year, you'll see 10th Street, and way out west, you have the Southwest Bypass under construction or underway. But over the next 16, 17, and 18, a lot of the major construction projects, the intermodal facility, the Town Creek Culvert, 10th Street, once those are all done, again, Dickinson will start, and then after Dickinson, 4 or 5 years, you'll have Evans Street as well as Fire Tower, the widening of both of those. So those are immediately behind those. So as far as the city goes, there's be different areas, but we're going to be in construction for quite a while.
Now, I know that this is not your area, but in some of all of this, we're working in state roads nonetheless, because some of our places are in really bad shape, big, huge potholes. Do you know about any type of schedule, though, that the state might have about coming on in? I mean, we've had a lot of rain. It's made everything worse, like 10th Street's just a mess with huge, big potholes and that sort of thing.
So depending on where it is, it could be the contractor's responsibility or the state, but we're regularly conversing with the state to address those issues that pop up.
Because people still don't really understand completely that those roads aren't your responsibility sometimes.
Some of the most of the major roads, with the exception of Arlington, do belong to DOT.
Exactly. So that makes it kind of hard. So in the going back to the bond just for a few minutes, in the bond, part of that was an area on 5th Street.
That's right.
The second streetscape phase of that.
Phase.
So will that also start soon? It was pretty much shovel ready, but so much is going on. I just didn't know what the time frame for that would be.
So yeah, we're actually taking a look at that. We think that's going to start this year. There's a property acquisition that's occurring.
Right.
We are taking a look and see. So if we have Arlington, 10th Street, and 5th Street in construction, those are all of the connections to the hospital. But we expect that one to be quick. We think that will start in the fall and complete in the summer of 17.
Right. So some of the roads do have to be left open.
That's right.
You have to
That's right. I mean, we'd love to do every road, but we're going to leave some of them open.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
there's more to get to.
On top of that, they've got work at the hospital going on there with the cancer center and all of that.
Yeah.
Don't know how that traffic flow may not affect it, but
that
really
affects
don't
parking
know.
at the facility for sure.
Absolutely.
But then ECU has some.
Got so much going on.
Kevin has his hands full over
It
that.
really does.
over the summer this year. But if anybody can handle it, definitely he can.
Oh, appreciate it.
That's right. So, are there any other things? So, after all this gets done, then what will be the next big plan, you think?
Oh,
Have we even thought about it that far down the line? Because it doesn't stop.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Watershed Master Plan, I expect that we'll see some very large number, a dollar amount for
Right.
projects that we'll need to do over the next 20 to 25 years, probably north of $100 million.
Right.
Just significant capital projects that we need to do to upgrade our system as well as maintain our existing system. So that will be a focus, but a long-term focus over the next 20 years.
So tell the citizens what public works, what areas do you actually cover? Because everybody's always on you about the roads.
Sure.
And we know about the stormwater, but there's a lot more that it encompasses.
Yeah, there is. The operational side. As you said, roads and stormwater, but also sanitation, transit,
Right.
fleet. There's a fleet division, which there's 700 pieces of equipment that includes lawnmowers,
Wow.
all the way up to fire trucks and buses. So we do that. Traffic. There's 130 traffic signals in the city. We own 30, and the state owns 100, but we maintain them all. Building and grounds. So we take care of all city facilities as well as plantings in the right of way.
I'll tell you, when I did my orientation, and you did a wonderful job during the orientation, I was just shocked by the amount of different fields that you guys have to deal with on a regular basis.
Right.
And one of the things I was going to bring up too is, I know we've done a lot, and we've talked about this, about switching out some of the lights in different areas, the street lights. And I think, I don't know if you wouldn't mind talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. So over the last month or two, we've switched out 130 of our street lights. Actually, GUC has switched them out on a request from what the high-pressure sodium, which is this yellow sort of glow, to the LED, which is a very bright and clear white light. So if a red car is passing under a high-pressure sodium, you may see that car and may not be able to pick out the color. But with the LED, you can certainly see pedestrians and certainly see the color of the car.
Right.
So it enhances safety from that perspective.
And I can tell you that's a hot topic right now.
Really is.
I've had a lot of constituents that have come to me and said, one of the big things they want us to focus on at the city council level is safety. And another thing I'd like for you to maybe talk about, I know we've had some crosswalks that we've gone out and we sprayed just to make sure that they're visible. Do you have like an update as far as how often we're doing that? Are we doing it on request? Are we doing it on a schedule?
Certainly doing that. So depending on whether it's thermoplastic, or thermoplastic is the sort of the thicker rolled out crosswalk, whether we heat or paint. Paint will last about, depending on the section, 1 to 2 years. Thermo 3-4 years.
Right.
So that's sort of the cycle depending on where they're applied. But in the uptown area, as well as around the university, we've been upgrading those in various facilities. Along 10th Street, there's a whole 10th Street corridor safety study that's underway.
That's right.
And we just finished meeting on that, and the consultant's coming up with the conceptual design for improving safety all along 10th Street. And that's an important section, especially where the university is, and then as you move eastward, east of Greenville Boulevard. A lot of focus on safety there.
Do you have any information on the beacons? I read an article about the beacons. That was kind of a neat concept. I think a lot of people might not know about that. Right.
We're looking at 4 places this week. We looked at one place in the medical area a couple weeks ago. 4 places this week. We're doing traffic counts or pedestrian counts to measure how many pedestrians are using it and where is the best place for what you were referring to is a rectangular rapid flashing beacon, and it's essentially a sign where it's actuated by a pedestrian. They'll push a button, and that sign will blink.
Wow.
To alert motorists that there's a pedestrian in the crosswalk.
Right. So are we still working and installing more sidewalks? I haven't really paid a lot of attention to that, but there were still sidewalks that needed to be completed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the bond, there's
right.
$1.4 million for sidewalk, and we're currently, that's probably a year or two away, just based on everything else that's going on before we get underway with the sidewalks. We're planning it now. There's a Safe Routes to School project that deals with sidewalks on East 5th Street over by
Right.
St. Peter's, as well as Memorial, and just north of South Greenville in the Skinner area. So some sidewalks going there.
That's right.
That will be this summer.
Everybody's going to be really patient for the next 5 or 6 years and let all of this go. But it is amazing if you really pay attention, if you can, when you're driving down these roads, how many people really actually are using the sidewalks, how useful and how important they really have become.
Yeah, it's a necessity. The formula across the country of not providing sidewalks or streetlights, clearly that's not a formula that works.
Right.
And sidewalks and streetlights need to be everywhere on every street.
I know, they really do. So this has just been great information today. Is there anything else you think you want to highlight or cover, or pretty much wraps it up, doesn't it,
enough
for
today.
you?
Well, I mean, the council members sitting here, we've had certainly a lot of support from the council on moving these projects forward.
Right.
And we did a lot of work with yourself on the bond, and
Right.
really happy that was approved, and
Yes.
now we're making it happen.
And so hopefully, too, the council will continue forming and transforming something into an ongoing bond schedule, that will really help, because this is really just the beginning of
It
what's
is.
going to be needed. And like you said, as you work toward the repairs and necessary underground things that we don't even think about and don't see, then other roads are going to need to be repaired and
Right.
changed, and so there'll be a lot more work coming about.
That's right.
I'm sure there will be.
We'll try and do the roads after the stormwater, so that we're not digging up the
Good
road.
choice.
Exactly. That's exactly
Cost-saving measure.
right. That's right.
One thing we didn't talk about, and real quickly,
Sure.
is the focus on town common.
Right.
So that's been a big priority from this current council, from many councils, but this current council put
Right.
at the top of their list, and looking forward to seeing what happens over the next 2 years there.
That will be really good. I mean, it is
Absolutely.
such an important piece of the puzzle for the uptown area, but really for the whole town. And
It
the
really
things-
is.
It really is. Everybody sometimes just thinks about it just being part of uptown, but I think it will be used by a lot of citizens across the town as an ongoing place to gather and have festivities, and
Right.
from all different organizations, not just Uptown Greenville.
Right. That's right.
And
That's right.
that would be the point of it, is to
Absolutely.
have the entire community wanting to use it and put it in place. So I'm looking forward to that.
And I think that's going to happen pretty quickly. I know Parks is working on
Right.
a park facility there, a playground facility
That's
that will
right.
be in place probably July, August of this year.
That's right. So this is probably not a question you want anybody to ask, but if anybody has questions about the street lights are out, or any of the crosswalk questions or
love
things
that
like
question.
that, who do they call? How do they
So
get?
for streetlights,
you know-
that would be they would actually call GUC.
Okay.
So,
they don't have to call you, even
but
though
they
we
can,
talked
and,
about
and we'll,
lighting.
we'll forward
Okay.
that request to GUC. They
Okay.
actually maintain that. So either us or GUC,
Okay.
they can reach out to. We do have something called a City Compass, which is known as a 311 type
Okay.
of app or application. So if there's a problem, stormwater issue, a pothole, missed sanitation call,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
something with transit, send it to us. Let us know what's going
Right.
on. There are eyes and ears on the street. So
Mm-hmm.
any news we get is helping us do our job
Right.
better.
And they do a really good job. I can tell you, I had an old neighbor of mine that had written something on Facebook saying they had a pothole, and somebody said, "Well, call call up the Public Works and let them know." And literally, I think he said within 24 hours, you guys were out there
Right.
to patch that hole. And he wrote back on Facebook, "Man, they did a great job. I couldn't believe how quick it went."
Our goal is 48 hours, and as we we bought a new vehicle, a new truck,
Right.
which does automatically filling the pothole instead of a crew, a three-person crew and 2 dump trucks out there. We have a 2-person crew in 1 truck, so helps us
Right.
do it much faster.
That's right. And so also with the sanitation trucks, now there for a while we were converting to new trucks. What's going on with that right now?
So the whole city is automated now.
Okay.
So everywhere has the ability to be automated. There are some streets where there are some small alleyways
Okay.
that we call streets, and some of the side loaders, the automated trucks, have a difficult time getting
Okay.
down there. But without exception, the whole city is automated.
Okay, that's
So-
great to know. Well, we are going to have to wrap it up today. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Kevin Mulligan, Director of Public Works, and PJ for being our co-host. And we wanted to thank our sponsors again, Ribeye Steakhouse, Greenville Toyota. Both of those have been with us for a long time, as well as Overton Residential Properties, and we so appreciate them. And PJ, is there anything you want to add? Maybe update us real quickly about what might be going on with the council right now? You're getting ready to have your new meetings coming up for March.
Well, there's a lot of exciting things that are happening. I mean, Kevin's going to be a part of many of the neat things that are going on with our infrastructure and a lot of the new projects that are taking place. We've got a lot of private entities that have come into our city. The new sidewalk development project's really neat,
really
right over there. So there's a lot going on. I mean, as people want to follow us, they can get on the TV and watch us at our city council meetings and see all the neat things that are taking place. And we would love any input that you have. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know if there's anything that you'd like us to focus on.
And y'all will be reviewing the budget again. I saw something in there about that as well.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's a constant.
Yeah. I mean,
like we do for our own selves.
Well, I mean, we want to do neat things to the city, make it a better place.
That's
we do
right.
have to be fiscally responsible. And
I imagine ongoing discussion, like he said, about the town common, which is so important. People are really listening for that.
Absolutely.
So that's really important. So we so appreciate it, you being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really excited about 10th Street, and we'd love for you to come back maybe in a few months and update us about what's going on that we can't, see. We can, of course, see what was going on with the bridge starting.
That's right.
Everybody's really excited about that. So we appreciate it again. We thank you all for joining us. You can see us on Friday nights as well at 6:30 and on Saturday mornings at 9:30. And thank you again for joining us on the Greenville Grit.